So today we're going to be looking at Australian artwork, specifically dot painting. So the name of this book is Desert Dreamings. And I'm just going to flip through a couple pages and skip around to share some Australian Aboriginal art with you. Aboriginal people are the people that originated in Australia. They are the, if you cover up the beginning of the word, original people. So they believe in creation or dream time. So they make a lot of art about this dream time. In the beginning, they did rock engraving. It's the oldest and most lasting form of Aboriginal art, and it's found in most parts of Australia. And then they also did rock painting. In the desert areas, rock painting is similar to rock engraving, but they made their own pigments. White from clay, red and yellow from the earth, and black from charcoal. The pigments were ground to a powder and mixed with a natural glue, then applied with fingers or a brush. They would also make sand paintings. They would illustrate a story or show a map of the landscape. A hidden message. Aboriginal art uses traditional symbols, which could be read in many ways. It's kind of like hieroglyphics in ancient Egypt. Because of this, even the secret parts of dreaming can be painted but still remain hidden from us. The artist is the only person who fully understands its meaning. These are some of the traditional symbols used in desert art. They have many different interpretations. Only a few of their meanings are given. And when you create your artwork today, you can use some of these symbols. Looking at desert art. They use dots in modern Aboriginal paintings, and that comes from rock painting, body painting, and ground designs, which is sand drawings, and ground mosaics. The color patterns of dots side by side create 3D pictures full of life and movement. Dots may also represent the landscape. When viewed from a high point or from the air, the country often appears dotted with clumps of bushes and trees. The paintings, the land, and the people are a visual record of the dreamings, and they explain the artist's relationship with the land. In the mind of the artist, the land is mapped out with dreaming trails, created by mythical ancestors. Canvases may be painted by one artist or by a number of people together. They can work together or separately. Here's a picture of some vines. The vines only grow after heavy rain because they do live in the desert. Aboriginal art can now be seen in the capital city. This is a granite mosaic pavement in a government building. And you guys remember that mosaic is little pieces of tile or stone, but it's made to look like a dot painting, but it's not paint, it's a mosaic. And this is a picture of the artists working on installing the mosaic. You could see the tiny 3D little discs that they are putting in. And that is the clay on the left. Looks like they made ceramic tile. In recent times, Aboriginal art has become more accessible for artists and tourists. And as you guys can see, we have painted furniture and tourist fabrics for tourists to take home, and an art cart covered in dot painting. So these artists are still working today, and you guys are going to be working in the style of dot painting next. Hope you found something that inspired you, that you liked, and here we go. We're going to start creating for our own dot painting. So I wanted to show you another artwork created by an artist. There is a ton of fun symbols in this. What do you think that symbol is on the top right? What about the creatures and the symbols on the top left? As we move down, more geometric shapes in great colors. And this looks like pigment that was made from the earth. Like in that book that I was talking about. The reds, the yellows, the whites, the blacks. They would have no art store to go get paint at, so they would have to crush up materials from nature like charcoal and clay and this stuff called gypsum and rocks to create the colors that they used. So you can see lots of little dots, let me zoom in, and lots of great symbols. So here's another great book for inspiration, Aboriginal Mosaics. It's a coloring book, but it has great line drawings of different creatures and animals that we can be inspired by to kind of get an idea of how we can do some Aboriginal dot painting layouts for our animals that we'll be working on for our cutouts. So I was looking through and I kind of like the X-ray artwork that I've been looking at in the book, and you can see it looks kind of like a spine of the fish with the bones of the fish with the lines, and I kind of like the double lines that they did. So on my cardboard cutout I was inspired by that, and I added a double line with on my fish. So let me back up here so you can see the whole thing. So I drew it in pencil first, but on the back I wrote my name and class code in marker. So after I did it in pencil and it was approved, I grabbed my marker again and I traced over the pencil lines. Now make sure that when you guys are doing this, that you just have a large guide line, because we're not going to be drawing in every little single dot. That's going to happen next week when we get our paint in our little dot wooden stick. So don't draw in every dot, just kind of give yourself a rough outline of how you want your design to look. Large spaces, not too small, because you'll never be able to squeeze a dot painting or dots into a small space. So this is like the smallest you should go. Nice large areas. So after you guys do that, you can grab your eraser, and this thing's going to move down a little bit. Just let it go down. And you're going to grab your eraser and just erase your pencil lines from your sketch before. Because when we paint on top of this cardboard, the brown cardboard color is going to show through, which is great because it's a very natural color, which is on one of the colors from a lot of the art that you saw in the book. So we're going to use this brown color. We're not going to cover up every single spot on the cardboard. So erase all those pencil lines, get rid of all the eraser marks. Let me show you how big the dots are so you can plan when you are doing your guidelines. What you're going to get is a palette. I'm just going to show you guys in white, so I just have a little color in mine, and a paint stick, and it has a small end and a large end. You guys are going to use the large end, and a wiper off cloth, a paper towel. So you are just going to start to dip your painting stick in the paint and just dot paint straight up and down. And you can see how it started off strong, but then I'm losing some paint, so I just took from the front, from the first one, and just kept on painting. Now it might get a little buildup on the side, so you can just kind of roll the edge, just get the end of the stick. And there you go. You can see how the dots are pretty large, so when you design your creature, your sea creature, or your other creature that you are going to be designing, you should not make the little sections too small, or you're going to get frustrated that you can't fit the dots in there. So let me just do one section and then I will zoom out so you can see how large these dots actually are. And when you do want to switch colors, that's what you use this for. Just wipe your color off if you want to switch colors, because we don't want to put this in water, because water and cardboard do not mix. If water hits the cardboard, it will disintegrate and fall apart. Alright, so there is just a little inkling of what it's going to look like. I will keep working on this, and you will see an updated version later on, hopefully. Alright, let's get creating.